Hi, everybody. Right, I'm just going to take you into the PowerPoint presentation we have for this, or the, I forget what the Mac version of it's called. I've only just started using one of these. But anyway, we'll go through, it'll be a mixture of soft skills and some hard skills. So we're going to do a bit of hard skills training. So there will be some exercises we can do as well as we go through this. This is part of my When Parents Aren't Around workshop, seminar. Now that's usually a 10-hour course, just to let you know. Normally they're made up of 2 lots of 5 hours in its entirety, and it's obviously a book as well that some of you might be aware of. And this has now been adapted as a home edition, a lockdown edition, if you like. And it's also, I'd say we've only got an hour to go through some of it, so we won't cover everything. So we'll begin with the very early parts of the area, which will be dealing with mainly attitude and awareness. But we'll see how we get on within the hour, and obviously I'll judge it as we go along. But just to bear in mind, it's part of a full 10-hour course, so you know there's a lot to be covered within the 1 hour slot. And obviously I'm also adapting it for home usage, because there's virtually all the exercises that we do normally for this course are done with partners, multiple partners, and so on. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight to oh, I've got 2 people in the waiting room here. Okay. Lee, how'd you let him in?
I can do that. I can do that.
Okay. Cool. Let him in. Excellent.
There you go.
Lovely job. Okay,
and
right.
we're back to host.
Okay, here we go. Right. So right. So the first thing here. Okay. So right. So when parents aren't around. And there's a good reason why I've made that the title, because for me, the most important aspect in self-protection teaching is putting a person in control. That is the foundation to any self-protection program, and that will link into what we talk about with attitude. But if you look at that in the title, when parents are not around, we're dealing with situations when adults, guardians, parents, teachers are not in the vicinity of a violent crime that could be committed against a child. So this is what we're training children to be able to protect themselves against. It's when the responsible adults are not present. Okay, that's the purpose. Okay, so to my background quickly. So again, I'm going to breeze through this very, very quickly because, you know, time is short. But again, I grew up on travelling circus, which exposed me to lots of different crisis situations, unusual risks that people would normally encounter from quite a young age. I started my uninterrupted training in combative systems in 1990. I've got self-defence instructor qualifications under Jeff Thompson and Mo Teague. A BTEC level 3 advanced certification in self-defence. That's one of the very rare accredited qualifications you can get in the UK for self-defence. I'm also an OCRA 1 assessor for national vocational qualifications, so I'm quite aware of how the educational system works, certainly in a vocational capacity. I regularly update my knife and edged weapons awareness program, mainly just because of the quality of the service that we have with that, which is probably one of the best edged weapon awareness programs I can think of in the UK, and a lot of the stuff there is all industry standard stuff. Obviously my formal martial arts qualifications, Aikido, Muay Thai and American kickboxing to begin with, but then I branched out into things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, traditional Jiu-Jitsu, Chinese martial arts, Filipino martial arts, Western boxing and wrestling. I've written for various martial arts magazines over the years, and obviously I'm a published author of When Parents Aren't Around, which is what this is focused on. I've also got 2 other martial arts books and 1 non-martial arts book out there at the moment too. So we'll move straight on to the subject of self-protection. So self-protection is an umbrella term we use to describe self-defense and personal security. That's a simple way of looking at it. So what are they? Well, self-defense, which is the term that a lot of people seem to use interchangeably with self-protection, is a very specific area of self-protection, generally speaking. The reason why it's a very particular area, and we're generally, I try to be, I don't have to be anal about it, but I generally, I'm quite on point about self-defense. I'm very much make sure that we use this as the term what we're talking about. It's the hard skills, it's the physical skills. When I refer to the term hard skills and soft skills, hard skills are the physical skills. These are the fighting skills that you'd use to stop an attack before it takes place or when it is taking place. So either preemptively or if you are being attacked. That's self-defense. But most importantly, it's the legally recognized definition. Okay, so when we talk about self-defense, it's a legally recognized term, and we really make this an important point. So when everybody, no matter what age you are, when you're training in a system of self-protection, when you talk about self-defense, you're talking about things that if you were caught in a fight situation and it did have to go to court, or there was some form of police investigation, or even if it's in a situation in a school situation where parents are involved and participants are involved in a fight, it's important that you understand that when you're saying the word self-defense, this is something where legally you're allowed to do it. Okay, whatever techniques or tactics that you're using, you're legally allowed to do it. And what defines it as self-defense is the context of where it's happened. Okay, so it's worth keeping that in mind. So, you can say to somebody, "Oh, I use my karate, or I use my kung fu, or I use my kickboxing, whatever." These aren't legally recognized terms. Self-defense is something that people involved in the legal profession, whether it's law enforcement, that's police officers, courts, judges, they all can recognize that term self-defense. If you say self-defense, if you say karate, only people involved in karate, maybe even your specific school will be able to not agree with what you've been doing. If you say self-defense, that is something that is recognized, that will need to be tried and recognized by people in a legal sense. It's very important we understand that, even for youngsters, even for minors, people under the age of 18. Personal security. Now, personal security refers to the non-physical skills used to prevent or reduce violence. Okay, so generally, I expand this also to mean things that happen after a fight as well, after an incident. So these are the soft skills. Okay, so with that in mind, we often test people to say how much of which do you think you should have if you had a percentage balance, and a lot of people, because so much training tends to be physical, and this is the thing that, and again, I've discussed this with Ben on several occasions, but people get so invested in the physical side of fighting when it comes to self-defense. When it comes to self-defense, the self-defense part of it is only a minor part, and all the best commanders instructors, Peter Constantine, Jeff Thompson, all the best ones agree that the split should be something like 10% self-defense, so 10% hard skills, and 90% personal security. So that gives you an idea. So the non-physical stuff is overwhelmingly more important than the physical stuff when it comes to defending yourself in a real life situation. We're not talking about competition, not talking about sparring, not talking about going through different combative movements for the sake of the art or the history or whatever. When you're talking about actually defending yourself in a real life situation, the non-physical stuff trumps the physical stuff most of the time, 9 times out of 10. So 90% of it needs to be geared towards that. So that's the reason why we need to do courses like this, where we look at what is the soft skills, because often soft skills are just given lip service by people. So apologies if that photo is a little shocking to some of you. Okay, it's again, it's a superficial wound, but it gives you an idea of what violence means, and certainly when it's looking with youngsters. So violence is defined, oops, sorry about that. So violence is defined as behavior involving physical force intending to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. So as much as we want to paint it whichever way we want to say things, when we're talking about self-defense, well, a lot of time we're talking about handling violence, stopping violence from happening to us. If violence does happen to us, to stop the violence as quickly as possible. So here we go. Here's a classic example here. So expectation versus reality. So we've got an image of some one-step sparring there, where you've got a compliant partner. It looks very stylized, and people are setting positions, and they're going through the movement. Where on the other side of it, you've got the reality of a fight. Okay, so this is a classic sort of school fight here, 2-on-1. It's scrappy. You know, it's not pleasant. It's not pretty, and it's very, very rarely fair. Okay. So we come to the first part of your soft skill set, and I like to begin with respect and attitude. So respect starts with you. Okay, you have to understand that you're worth protecting. And one thing I can say to all of you out there is that you're worth protecting. Okay, there's people who love you. There's people who want you to come home safely. There are people who want you not to be hurt. You have every right to protect yourself and not to allow another person from physically hurting you. You are worth protecting. Okay, you've got a lot to contribute to this world. There's lots of people who will benefit from you being a healthy, happy, productive part of society. And there's no one else has got a right to take that away from you. Okay, so it's very important to have respect for yourself. But I provided, you know, you're law abiding, you have every right to go on and live the life that you're most capable of achieving. And to let somebody, for the sake of them and wanting to hurt you, okay, take that away. Again, that's not on. Have that respect for yourself. So start with that and understand that you're worth respecting, and really mean that. I mean, there's a difference between being sort of arrogant and you know, saying, oh, I'm the best, and putting other people down and all that sort of thing. That's something totally different. But to be able to have an idea that you are worth respect, you're worth protecting, you have respect for yourself. Okay, and respect others. So that then extends out to respecting others, and you feel comfortable in yourself. So you look to not cause trouble and certainly not to bully. Okay, so these are things, and these aren't necessarily always easy temptations to avoid with people. Humans are like many other animals, are pack animals. Okay, we thrive in groups and always have done. We've always thrived in small groups. And that's what tends to happen throughout our history, and that's what on our behaviour can be seen. And those being in that group can draw us into bad situations. It can either draw us into groups where we get ourselves in danger, or we can endanger other people. So we need to have respect for other people, and we can and choose not to bully. So a lot of that, you know, can come from just having that personal respect, but also to understand and to you know, that other people need to be treated fairly as well. And again, you know, that starts it, because again, a lot of people who don't have respect for themselves tend to, you know, can lash out. Some people don't. Some people just become targets themselves, which is what we don't want. And other people can, so they lash out and then get themselves involved in their own sort of problems as well. So having respect and respect for others, you'll generally create a good atmosphere for yourself, and you're less likely to be involved in a violent situation. It's not a guarantee. It's definitely not a guarantee. Okay, there's a lot more to it than that, but it starts with respect to you and respect to others. So what is a good attitude? So first of all, I would say a good attitude is the willingness to be able to walk away from a fight. When it comes to fighting, it's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. It comes from an ancient feeling in us where we feel like we have to fight sometimes to be in a good position in our group. So remember when I said we're all pack animals? There's a classic example. You know, in our minds, you know, very ancient part of our brain, what is driving us to be competitive is driving us to be important in the group, because that's what would happen. You know, if you look in packs of animals, often, you know, animals that don't fight, don't stand up for themselves, they get pushed down in the pecking order, they get the least food, and you know, and they get generally more vulnerable often within a group. So, but we don't need to know that. We've built up a society now where we don't need to engage ourselves into unnecessary fights. So good attitude is to have the strength to be able to walk away from a fight situation that's not necessary. And any type of fight, virtually every fight can be avoided. Okay, we're dealing, when we talk about self-defense, when we talk about self-protection, we're talking about fights that cannot be avoided. So fights that cannot be avoided are an assault. We will get to that in a moment. But the willingness to just walk away from a fight is the beginning of it. Don't get drawn in. Don't get drawn in by insults. Don't get drawn in by taunts, no matter how bad, no matter how personal. As soon as you get drawn in, you've lost, because you've already done what the person who's been baiting you wants you to do in the first place. So, you know, that's the cornerstone of being willing to walk away from a fight. But if a fight does happen, good attitude is the willingness to do everything that is needed in order to be able to escape. So you've got to be able to fight and never give in. So you've got to have that willingness to do that. So there you go. You've got your two sides of it. You have your strong exterior that prevents you from getting involved in unnecessary fights. You know, fights over petty, small things, fights that can be avoided, willing to walk away from those, and a willingness that if it does happen, because if it does happen, you're going to go all in, do everything you possibly can in order to escape. And that's the important point. And again, that defines what we're talking about, self-protection. Anything outside of that isn't self-protection, and it isn't self-defense, and it isn't, and you're going to have a hard job trying to explain that if ever you get involved, if ever the law got involved, if anyone else gets, you know, anyone else got involved, if it's, you know, parents, teachers, other people, other, you know, responsible adults gets involved. If you ever get in a fight, you want to be in a situation where you can completely justify why you got in that fight in the first place, as in you were defending yourself. Bad attitude is to start or have unnecessary fights, okay, to begin with. So we've just covered that. So that's immediately a bad attitude. It's weak because you are now you haven't got the mental discipline or toughness or self-respect to be able to say, if I walk away from you, I can take the insults, I can take what other people think they said, what other people say about me, I can handle that. But again, a weakness to that would be, no, I'm going to get drawn in and go for it. So you know, what I would call a bad attitude, and giving up. So yeah, in a real life situation when things get stuck in, there's nothing wrong. Okay, you know, so you get involved in things. So I'm not saying win at all costs. We're not talking about that. We're talking about life and death situations where you could be physically hurt. You need to have this will in your mind to never give up. If I had to tell a person that, let's say they were going to be involved in an unavoidable fight situation and they had minimal training, if in a hypothetical situation is going to happen and there's no way out and they've got to physically fight, what is the best tip I could give them? Well, the best tip I would give them is to never give up. Okay, that is the basis. You will find a way. As long as you can breathe, you can keep going. And there's good books on it. And again, for the adults, I'd recommend books like Ben Sherwood's The Survival Club, which will give you examples of people in the most unbelievably difficult situations that got out of it, where people were seriously injured and they survived, and through, you know, pretty much through the sheer will to never give in. Right, so yeah, respect yourself and you will respect others. That is generally what we find with respect. So right, so if anyone's got some space here, we can do a little we can do a warm-up activity. Okay, so the first thing, you're in your home, and so typically in our home we feel very, very safe. If there's a place that it's a place that most people feel they're safest. There are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, the home is the place that most of us feel are safest. However, things can happen in the home. There are things like home invasions. A number of different things could happen within a home environment. You could have people over who are guests who do turn out to be aggressive or enemies at other different points. So we need to understand where our exit points are in any given place. So even now, maybe even forget that this is your home. Look around you, and where is your nearest exit point? Well, for me, as you can see behind me, I've got a door straight behind me. I go out that door, I turn right, and then I'm straight into my hallway. I turn right again, I'm straight out. I'm out the front door. If I go straight out, if I turn right, so if I go to this door, turn right, go straight on. Okay, I need to turn left, go across the kitchen to go to my back door. These are my exit points. So look around you and see where your exit points are, first of all. Okay, know where your exit points are in order to access. So we'll look at some movement. Okay, so first of all, can everyone get up? Okay, if we can see everyone get back up. Good. Okay, I'm just going to move my chair away. This one here. Okay, so we're just going to look at some very basic movements. Okay, so first of all, okay, posture with purpose. So how do you stand? So typically, different people's stances give away a lot about what they're like as a person. And even if they don't give away what they're like, it's whatever you're going to be giving to somebody else. So if you stand, again, some people do this, you get this kind of up splayed arm kind of attitude to thing. That goes a stage too far. To some people, that's going to show a lot of confidence. But there's sort of people that's going to intimidate are not the sort of people who we're trying to defend against. Okay, but unfortunately, there's going to be a section of people who we are trying to defend against. Who, as soon as you show an arrogant stance, as soon as you show splayed arms, chest too far forward, head up like this, and that sort of attitude, you're going to become a target for them because they're going to see you as being a challenge to their position. And again, if you haven't got what backs up, it becomes an unnecessary fight situation. Then you've got this, okay, so obviously people put their heads down. So immediately, not only that, you switched off, but you are now immediately in a very vulnerable position. You become a soft target for the sort of person who would, be targeting people like that, a predator. So stances should be nice and relaxed, okay, so definitely shoulders back and head up, okay, in the position here so you can look around. So I know where my exit point is. So we're just going to walk, okay, can we just, so you've just got the room, okay, there, so we're going to just walk around naturally. But as you walk around naturally, I want you to keep your head forward, okay, and look at a point, okay, as you're going. So as you see me as I'm walking here, okay, again, I've got limited space, I haven't got a big room to walk across, but I'm looking straight ahead of me, okay, as I'm there. Looking straight ahead of me, and I'm moving around, okay, so we're there. And so again, if we were in a hall, this is what we would be doing. So we move, our hands down, okay? Again, it's confident, but without being aggressive, without being arrogant. And again, you're keeping that kind of position there. So now, as I'm here, so where's my exit point? So I can see where my exit point is at the moment. As I'm doing that, I've got my back towards the exit, because that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm making sure that I'm not just going to blindly go back into the exit. I can see out the corner of my eye. And often people think that they have to turn their head to look at a thing. You can see things out the corner of your eye, take things in your peripheral vision. So we're here, that's my exit point, okay? So can everybody, sounds like a really simple thing to do, okay? But can we just work on looking there, here, move forward, okay? And then now move back towards the exit, okay? See if you, now some of you are doing this, some of you are kind of like that, okay? Well, this is telling you something straight away, okay? So, if we can all be here and striking and punching and our stance like that, but if we can't move tactically towards an exit point, and that's a problem, okay? That's going to be a problem because, and I don't care what people say about not running away, exiting, again, is a primary self-protection tool we need to have. It's a primary self-defense tool. It's a primary hard skill we need to have. We need to be able to move towards our exit. We need to know where they are and to make sure that they're secure. And we need to access them as quickly as we possibly can. Because as a threat, as time goes on, and a threat, and we've realised we've got a confirmed threat to us, it gets more problematic as time goes on. The threat gets bigger. Okay, so now you could be, after just dealing with one person, you could be dealing with more than one person, or you could be dealing with a person with a weapon. And so it gets to the stage where it's going to come, your chance of dealing with that situation physically start reducing. Get to an exit, and we've got our advantage. We've got distance, we can move away. Okay, so we're just going to, again, so up here, okay, there, okay, and then we're going to move towards the exit. Okay, so just a little bit faster now. We'll walk towards your screen, okay, and let's go towards the exit point. Okay, check it. Here, move towards the exit point. Good. Again. Calm, exit point. Okay. Okay, right now, just calm normally, everybody. Just walk around here. Okay, breathe in, breathe out, nice and controlled. Exit. Okay, back in. Bring your breathing down again. Control your breathing. Control, look around, look at your points. Straight ahead, exit. Okay, again, move. Good, good. Exit. Okay, right, anyone got any objects? Okay, I've got a few objects here. Okay, get a few like objects. Okay, yeah, sit, focus mitts. I've got this little bottle of water here I've got down here. I'm going to put that in front of me. Okay, so it's right directly in front of me. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, it's going here, right in front of me here. I'm going to put something, one pad there. Okay, I've got a little kettlebell here. Okay, I can stick that just here. Okay, to make a little rough triangle. So this point here. So now I'm imagining I've got different hazards. Okay, they could be anything you want them to be. So I've just made a little triangle. Has everyone done that? Good. Okay, little triangle. Right. So these could be things in your way. Or they could be people. Okay. What you're going to do is you're here now, and you need to get away from them. Okay. So the first one is blocking your doorway, your exit point here. So we need to better move around him. Okay, and we're going to come move out here. So we're going to, as we come to there, I'm switching here, and I'm moving towards the door. And I'm keeping my eye on this point here. So I go here, switch, there. And you'll notice my hands come up. Yeah, as I go there, because I'm in a ready position. It's not a guard, it's just active hands. So I'm here, exit. Okay, again, calm, exit. Now I'm going to come out this way, go out to the right. Okay, now I've got these two objects to get past. I've gone between them, now I've got to go through them, and I've got this one here as well. Okay, so I need to better get past him and get past him. Minimal time with my back to them. Okay, exit. Again. Exit. Exit. Okay. Exit. Okay, right. So from here, we're just going to go into a kneeling position. So I'm just sitting up here, kneeling position, half kneeling rather. Sorry, so we call it combat base in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Again, it's just like a control position here. Again, compromised position. Okay, exit. Bring out this way. There. Okay, we'll do the first exit. So we'll call this exit 1, exit 2. Exit 1's the original one you did. Exit 2 is the second one here. Okay, again, down kneeling position. Exit 1. And again, exit 2. Exit 2. Exit 1. Exit 2. Exit 1. Exit 1. Again, relax. Down. Exit 2. Okay, cool. Right, so just going to move these to the side for a moment again. Okay, so just going to move. Okay, so we're moving around now. So keep our hands up, moving around. Okay, everyone around. Okay, important here is that, again, we can move. Very, very important. All fight situations, they move. They're dynamic. Try to get out of the habit of just doing lots of fixed techniques on the spot. There's got a time and a place for it, but most fights are moving. So we're just going to move. Okay, so we're moving now. Our hands are up. Okay, so again, threats could be coming from anywhere. Moving an area here. Just want you to be in a combative movement, nice and relaxed. Okay, so moving here and change levels. Round, change levels. Okay, why do we change levels? Well, again, someone tries to grab hold of us, we drop our levels, less likely to be taken down. Okay, that's an anti-grappling procedure. We should get used to doing that. Someone gets hold of you, drop levels. Drop levels. Drop levels. Drop levels. Okay, switch direction. Okay, side, side. Again, switch direction, side, side. Okay, ready to run in any direction you need to go in. Drop levels. Switch sides. Drop levels. Back up, hands up. Okay, just from here, nice and relaxed. Okay, just off the spot. Get in a ready kind of position. I'm not going to call a stance. I want this nice and relaxed. Your hands are here. Okay, and your rear hand's just going to come straight out. It can be a reverse punch or a cross, or it can be a straight palm. Self-defense, I generally prefer palms, okay, to the head, and often teach that. Less chance of getting damaged and has a lot of impact, okay? But again, if you're accurate with your punches, there's no problem doing that. It's what comes natural to you. Nice and relaxed, palm. Strike. Strike. It's a rear strike. Strike. Relax. Strike. Relax. Strike. Relax. Strike. Relax. Strike. And where are we striking? We're striking at your head level and whatever comes towards you. So again, if it's someone around your sort of height, okay, then strikes would be, generally towards the head area, the head region, your own head region. is the best place to go for. Get a larger person. Again, if we're talking about people, you know, under the age of 16, under the age of 14, you've got a lot of different sizes that we're dealing with. Okay, so I'm aware of a lot of you. You know, you're dealing with people who are all different sort of sizes. So again, you know, it's still your head level though. But it might be their stomach, it might be their groin. Okay, there could be any other number of targets that they're going to face with doing your head level. So when you do that, that's what we need to visualize. Okay, other hand, strike, relax, and again, strike. Okay, notice my hand comes up as I strike, so I'm protecting. Strike, 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 strike. Okay, good. Relax. No stance. Again, we come from here. The only stance we've got is just on balance. Okay, so you're just naturally on balance. Strike. Okay, strike. Okay. Another thing to important point is again, so we're moving around a little bit now, a little bit more movement, and strike, 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 circle strike, 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 strike. So targets, again, we look at this on our anti-abduction stuff, but you know, if we're looking at an adult, like an anti-abduction situation with an adult, we have to look at what's coming towards us. Striking someone's head, striking someone's stomach, these might not be in range, okay? So we have to strike what's coming towards us. So again, we tend to use like very much forearms and straight shots here, whatever comes towards us. Again, we might bite, we might push the fingers back, any number of things. But again, to just be able to even to slap a hand that comes towards you, okay, to have that tactic, also strike with the forearm, okay, so it's a very, very simple procedure. So certainly, again, if you're looking at a big size difference, you know, if you're 10 years old doing this, okay, you know, again, and the chances are, a lot of the time we're dealing with anti-bullying, peer-on-peer stuff, so that means people around your age group or a bit older. But looking at adults, people who've got generally will have a much longer range than you. Their arms are longer. You're not going to, and they're going to be physically stronger than you. You need to be looking at movements that are coming like this at an angle, okay, because you're striking away what comes towards you. So strike, strike, again. It's relaxed, strike, 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 strike. And you can use a palm, strike, strike, slap the hand as it moves away, strike, strike, exit, okay? Let's go again. So decide what you want to do, okay? Straights, okay? Hooks, angle strikes, okay? Whatever you visualize your partner, your opponent is, rather, your enemy is. So we're standing here, okay? Strike, strike, exit, okay? Strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Again. Strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Good. Okay. Strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Okay. Just choose what it is. Again, move around, drop levels, back up, strike, strike, exit. Drop levels, strike, strike, exit. Kneeling, exit. Kneeling, strike, 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 exit. Kneeling, strike, strike, exit. Strike, strike, exit. Okay, good.
Jamie, one sec. Sorry, Jamie. I've just got to let someone in. I'm just going to take the host back for a second.
Go for it.
Sorry about this. 1 second.
No problem.
Okay, all good, Jamie. Thanks.
Cool. Good. Okay, so next thing, again, moving into this whole idea about being grabbed and anti-grappling and people trying to get hold of you. We've got to drop our hips back. Sometimes it's not enough. An exercise that will promote stronger leg defense, stronger lower body defense is a sprawl. It comes straight out of wrestling. And it's your takedown defense. And again, I think any system that teaches self-protection and certainly any strike-based system should really consider always having sprawls as being a regular part of their training, because it'll teach you anti-grappling. If ever was the beginning of anti-grappling, it would be that. People talk about anti-grappling techniques. They're things that it often comes up as stuff where people who don't want to grapple, who don't want to train to grapple, like to put in. They think, oh, if I bite, if I eye gouge, but all these nasty things. If I hit hard enough, I don't need to grapple. Truth is, it's going to be the case. You're going to get somebody who's even half competent at grappling, and they get hold of you, and you don't know how to grapple them, you're in trouble. Okay, it's as simple as that. We see examples of this all the time. Grappling is the most primitive instinct, most primitive unarmed fighting instinct. We probably grappled evolutionary long before we struck with our hands, the chances are, certainly with our fists. We grab, we manipulate, we throw, we trip. These are all really instinctive things in us. So, you know, chances are someone's going to grab hold of it. It's a very instinctive way to someone trying to control you. So learning fundamental anti-grappling techniques that come from grappling are important. You can put all the other nasty stuff on top of that to stop someone grabbing hold of you, but you need to have some sort of foundation skill with it. And sprawl is a great place to start. So the sprawl, you go down, you practice it a bit like a burpee. Okay, if you don't know what a sprawl is, I highly recommend that after this, you go online, Google it, put sprawl in, S-P-R-A-W-L. Look at sprawling. And even if it's looking in sport, doesn't matter. They're the best people to show you it. Rest was sprawling. Okay, your hips are going to hit the ground, and you're going to have your arms out here. You wouldn't have your arms out here as you're defending it. Okay, it's just we have to do this because we can't mimic it's solo otherwise. So what the sprawl is you go here, and your hips go down. Okay, so we drop levels here like we were doing before, and our hips hit the ground. We can hit the ground with the left hip, okay, hit the ground with the right hip, okay, or hit the ground with both. Depends on what the scenario is, what we're looking at. We're just getting used to that. So everyone, sprawl. Okay, sprawl. Sprawl. Left sprawl. Right sprawl. Left sprawl. Right sprawl. Sprawl. Okay, from here, we're going to strike. Okay, so we're going to strike, 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 sprawl. Exit. Again. Strike, strike, sprawl. Exit. Strike, strike, sprawl. Exit. This time we're going to come up with a knee. Okay, someone's coming in, they're trying to grab you, your legs, you're sprawling, so they don't pick you up. Again, it's great for kids because, you know, it's one of the things, again, that an adult will try and do, try and pick you up. So you need to be able to ground yourself, pull right down into the ground to get away. And sprawling will help you do that. Okay, it makes you heavy, makes it hard for someone to pull you off the ground to pick you up. That's what it's designed to do. So we're going to go down. So as they go down, our knee is going to come up. Okay, so we're going to sprawl. And as we come up, it's a knee, and we're going to exit. Once again, strike, strike, sprawl, knee, exit. Again, strike, strike, sprawl, knee, exit. Relax, relax, strike, strike, sprawl, knee, exit. So imagine you struck them. The strikes haven't worked. They've tried to grab hold of you. You sprawled away, thrown the knee in. We're moving away. And that whole movement as we shift away there is pushing them away as you are making your exit point. Strike, strike, sprawl, knee, exit. And again, strike, strike, sprawl, knee, exit. Cool. Next one, covering. So when something incidentally happens to us, we get hit, we get struck, we need to be able to regain the initiative. We're not learning how to block here, okay? Blocking at close range has got limited practicality. In fact, I would highly recommend that you test it at conversational range. Whenever we do these seminars, I get people and they have all different levels of ability, doing it to absolute beginners, people who've got huge martial arts backgrounds, often with more experience than me, and I put them up on these tests. And few people can block at very, very close range. It's a very unlikely defense. We need to be preemptive most of the time. We'll come on to that. But if things go wrong, okay, we need to be able to get back onto our front foot. It's no point if that someone's hitting us that we still then start going in a passive, reactionary sort of way. Okay, someone attacks us, we've got to be able to get back onto our front foot. And we do that by covering. So the cover, just to show you guys up close, okay, I just do this. there are variations, there are different ways of doing it, different ways of people work their way, whatever. Okay, it doesn't really matter, provided you've got this triangle here. That's the strongest structure in the world. You've got that, and again, it works from different areas. And it's not a block, okay? You've got hit, you cover, you crash in, and then you come back out as quickly as you can. We don't want to be wrestling with them. We can avoid it, okay? We grapple because when we have to, but we strike when we can. So we grapple if we have to, we strike when we can. That's generally our policy. So the idea here is that we've got hit, we cover, okay, notice it's mobile, we move in, and we start striking. So that would be my response. Back in, cover, strike, okay? So for this, to simulate the surprise, everybody close your eyes, okay, for this, okay? And I'm going to say cover. Close your eyes. So when I say cover, you open your eyes. Cover, and then you go in and then escape, okay? So this is the procedure. So I've got my eyes closed now. Cover, strike, exit, okay? So I'm just going to say cover. So eyes closed, relax, cover. Okay. Eyes closed, relax, 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 cover. Okay. Relax, eyes closed, cover. Okay. Relaxed, eyes closed, cover. Eyes closed, cover. Okay, cool. So moving on. Okay, so again, we just looked at it, we've gone through the obstacles, so that's on the list again. Right. What we would do if we were doing a normal course is something we call predator versus prey. I've done it with Lee Mullins guys. It's definitely the predator versus prey drill. We've had that before. It's a really good test where you get different people to play the roles of the predator and the other people to play the roles of the prey. And there's so many things you can take out with human behavior, ways to test certain techniques. But in essence, what it is it's a small number of people are designated to be the predators, and then everyone else is the prey. And the idea is that the prey obviously need to get out of the way of the predators as quickly as they can. The predator gets hold of them, they've got about 5 seconds to get out. And we also involve things like we have adults on standby there who can play the role of bystanders. And how do you attract their attention? What's the best way to attract their attention? Something called the bystander effect, where a lot of people, the more people are around, less likely anyone's going to do anything about it. So there's a funny thing going on there. So just as we need to be within large areas, you've got less chance of somebody attacking you. If somebody does attack you in an area where you've got lots of people, the chances are other people won't get involved. They call it the bystander effect, and it's happened throughout history. It's nothing special about our time or all these other things that you often hear people put their own ideas onto. It's just as simple. It comes back to this pack mentality. So what we do to defeat bystander effect is that we learn how to get eye contact with individuals and to ask for specific instructions. So you get asked, like, stop him, stop this, stop this person, or order other people. You get hold of him. Block him off. This kind of thing. It's instructions. It's being specific about your instructions and look who you're calling on to be your help. So again, when we're out and we're being aware, we're being switched on, we're out in the town, which is what we should be doing all the time. And when we're out and about, it's important to be looking around and seeing different people who could be potential allies in a crisis situation. The more crowded the area, the more you need to be doing that. Who's more likely to be able to help you? We're pack animals, but we need to learn how the pack works. And the pack works by eye contact and by specific instructions. So again, you need to have in your mind some very, very easy set specific instructions. And stop him. Is a very, very simple one. Rather than just blatantly help. Okay, stop him, he's attacking me. Again, you might need to get that sort of explanation to somebody, but generally speaking, that's what people are looking for. And again, if you're recruiting help, if you're going in to help somebody, it's getting other people involved as well. Most people want to help, okay? They just don't know, they just need the instructions. So this then moves us on to the situation with bullying, okay, specifically. And again, at the moment, we're probably seeing more online bullying than anything else, okay. But again, again, this is all part of the pack. Bullies have got various different motivations why they're bullies. But generally speaking, they themselves are trying to put themselves in a position of authority within a group, and their belief of being able to do that is by putting down other people, and you might be that target. So they look for easy targets. So we've already gone through this to begin with. Don't look vulnerable. Your behaviour. No one has the right to hurt you. No one has the right to bully you. Okay, so let's get that completely straight. I'm not victim blaming here. What we're doing is we're target hardening. And again, unfortunately, human instinct is as it's always been, and you'll find this in different types of individuals anyway. They will look for an easy target. So first of all, that's, we need to target harden. So getting our confidence, working on our confidence, making sure that we've got our self-respect. Again, a bully is usually a coward. So again, this is why, target hardening is important. Make the target difficult for them. If it's difficult, if you're a difficult person for them to target, then generally speaking, they're not going to want to come after you. That's often a good, you've won half the battle already there. They use force or some form of pressure to get his or her own way. Okay, so that's generally what the definition of a bully is. They use force or some form of pressure to get their own way. Okay, so again, we're looking at that. It can be physical, but it can use words, and they can use both. So again, this is all setting up our respect and our attitude boundaries in place. And boundaries, again, this comes back to our point again about boundaries. They often have their own problems, okay, so there are other motivations that are behind it, okay. Unfortunately, with us, when we're dealing with a bullying situation, that's not immediately of importance to us. Our importance is to stop them from bullying us, to prevent them from bullying us. But sometimes you can talk, when you talk to people and you establish a connection with somebody, that's a great way to sort of reduce somebody from bullying. You can understand they've got their own problems, sometimes it depends in different scenarios, but I've found it when people have, in the past, whenever I was targeted and I was able to talk my way out of situations, one of the things that I learned early on was being able to find something in common with that person, putting it back onto them in terms of in a sympathetic way. Come on, what appears to be the problem here? Being able to talk it out with them. But first of all, the trouble is that, again, if we're looking at the word situation, this is what draws a lot of people into physical fights, okay, unavoidable, avoidable fights. So we need to be able to deal with these words. So it's all right saying to people, what's that? 1 second.
Jamie?
Yeah?
Is a headlock a thing of self-defense?
We'll cover that in the questions at the end, okay? All right, I'm just looking at dealing with words at the moment, okay? So when people, again, when it comes to dealing with words are what draw a lot of people into physical situations that could be avoided. So our first one here, okay, as we go through it, second. Yeah, so insults. So again, as I said, it's easy to say to somebody, don't get drawn into a fight. Don't get, it's easy to say to somebody, don't get baited. To have a good attitude is to walk away from a fight situation, to walk away from an insult. But when the reality happens and you're feeling really bad about yourself because what somebody's saying to you, and you don't want to fire back because you don't want to make it into a fight situation, you're trying to do that part of it, still can really hurt you if you're taking on board what they're saying. So, anyone wants to fire something good about you, try and fire back something, something bad about you. Fire something good about yourself. That's often the bounce back. This is what Robert Higgs, an anti-bullying expert who goes all around the country, he wrote, there's a few books, again, I'd recommend of his. One of the things he points out is sort of saying something good back. Always try and bounce back with something good about yourself. Okay, so you're ugly. I think I'm pleasant looking. You could keep saying, whatever bad someone comes back to you, you come back with something good about yourself. It's hard for them to track with it. Rather than firing back, what they want you to do is to say, no, I'm not, or you're ugly too. Okay, we say, I think I'm okay. I'm happy with myself, and it keeps going. There's no traction for them. There's no fire for them to burn through, to catch on to. Again, keep it short. Don't be drawn into a conversation. Okay, a lot of time when bullies are trying to snare you. Okay, it's like some form of trap, some form of bait. When people bait an animal to capture an animal to eat it, such as a fish, for example, they put bait on the end of a hook, they stick it in the water, and the fish goes to the bait, they catch the bait, and they get brought in. Same thing here. A bully is looking for things that either an insult that's going to make you upset, so they can just that they can then keep going at you, or you'll fire back, and then you fall into their trap of getting berated by them, getting attacked by them. And then it can escalate into a fight situation. So keep it short. Don't be drawn into a conversation. Don't be blackmailed or threatened. Tell somebody you trust. Really, really important here. Okay, no matter how bad a secret is that somebody has about you, if they're going to use that secret to get something off you, the first thing to do is to be honest. Okay, preempt them to it, and it'll put them off like nothing else. As soon as, I always say press the fast forward button. So if somebody says something, I'm going to tell the teacher about this, or I'm going to tell your parent about this, or I'll tell everybody that you did this, that, and the other. No matter how bad it is, to know that person has that secret about you and they're going to use that to get something else, it's far worse for them to hold that secret on you and to be able to use it to get something else than you then just being facing up and going straight out to do it. And it'll give a message to them that they haven't won, that they can't do that with you. It's against an important thing. So blackmail or threats, don't let somebody use that to get their own way with you, ever. Honesty is always a good policy. Again, with threatening, if someone threatens you, seek help immediately. Go to your parents. Always be able to go to your parents. No matter how bad the situation is, always be able to go straight to them and speak to them. It's very, very important. And anyone else you can trust, obviously, an adult you can trust. Again, this is really important. Understand that no is a perfectly acceptable answer and should be respected. No can be a single sentence. No, full stop. Okay, say no. Okay, if somebody doesn't take no as an answer, there's only one thing they want to do, and that's to control you. So if you've said to somebody, if they said to you, can I copy your homework? And you said no, or can I borrow something from you? And they're going to break it. We don't trust them with it, or it's something that you've been told that you've got to hold on to. For whatever reason it is, and you say no. You can say no politely, absolutely. I think the more polite it is, the less chance you're going to aggravate a situation. But always understand that no is a perfectly acceptable answer, and people who don't accept no as an answer, they only want to do one thing, and that's to control you. So that's a really, really important rule to go to. Of course, you have a few options. Okay, so comply. Where would we comply in a self-defense situation? So you would comply if, again, so let's say someone's being aggressive and they want to get something off you, and and it looks like it's going to be violent and they're dangerous. Okay, that's a classic way of complying. Okay, it's easier to just, someone threatens you with a weapon, okay, and they want money off you, give them the money. Okay, give them the money and get out of there. Your priority is to escape, not to hold on to that money. I always look at that situation with my daughter once asked me. She said, what would happen if somebody, pulled a weapon on you and asked for your money? And I said, well, I'd give them the money. And she was shattered for a moment there because, martial arts instructor daddy, trained with lots of different martial artists. And she'd seen me fight and all my background and all this sort of thing. And suddenly just shattered because I'm so used to seeing, even though things I'd said and I'd hoped had gone in, this image of somebody would, not going to give over your money, you're not going to give over some of that. And I said, well, okay, let's look at it this way. You come to me in a hospital and I'm on a hospital bed and I'm dying, or I'm in a serious injury that's going to affect me for the rest of my life, where I can hardly walk. And I say to you, I'm here because I was defending my money. I was here because I didn't want that person to get hold of my money. Would you be proud of me? And of course you go, oh no, of course not. The only time, and you have to decide to yourself when is complying not going to be when is complying not acceptable. So when is not giving in. So not giving in to someone would be someone tries to take you away. Okay, it could be somebody wants to do something physically with you you don't want them to do. Okay, that is a time where you would not necessarily comply, where you would say no, where you would stop Okay, and you'd have to fight maybe. But again, comply. Someone's asking you for money, and they've got they're an obvious threat. Okay, it's not a bad thing to do that. And give them the money, and then you can dob them into the police straight away. And call on help afterwards. But again, someone's threatening you with a violent situation, and you can see it could be a very dangerous situation. That might have to be an example you comply. Every situation is different, but that's just a typical example. Dissuade. Okay, so this is the talking down. This is the telling it's not such a good idea. So a lot of time we can dissuade people by how we look. Okay, just by being confident and showing that we're confident. We're less likely to be a target. But to dissuade and to talk somebody down, how do we do that? How do we de-escalate that? Well, there's someone could be an aggressive. They want to pick on you with a fight. You might change the subject. You might talk about something else. You might try and take it away from it. You might start trying to, again, back to that point I talked to you before about trying to look at things from their point of view. So I can see you're upset. I can see you want to fight me. I don't want to fight you. Why would you really want to fight me? It's not going to make you feel any better about it anyway. And then, and try and move it on like that. Again, their ideas of de-escalation. Now, when a fight happens, something physical happens, the longer you're in a physical fight, the worse it's likely to be, the higher the risks are going to be to you and to other people involved. Okay, but the longer it is at the beginning of a fight, before a fight happens, the better it is, because the more chance you've got of them cooling down, thinking maybe they shouldn't hurt you, maybe there's something about you that they might like, or they might think, oh, this guy's not an enemy after all. There could be any number of different things that just put them off, and sometimes they need a loophole. Sometimes when I say a loophole, you need to give them an excuse why not to attack you. Okay, so again, they call that like loopholing, saving face. Even that could be just, well, I don't want to fight you. You're much tougher than me. It's quite simple. That's something that a lot of people don't expect. They expect people to stand up. I mean, I remember I've seen that so many times. In school situations where people are forced into fights, which they don't feel confident they're going to win anyway. And it is a trap. So a lot of the time, again, that's part of dissuading and de-escalation. The longer you've got to talk to somebody in a sort of a pre-fight situation, the more chance you've got them stopping them from fighting you. Distract. Okay, again, it's all part of dissuade. Yeah, can we keep it unmuted until then? Okay, thanks. Okay. Distract. Let's
Apologies, Jamie. The parent's not there. I'll message them to switch it off.
Okay, cheers.
Thanks, Lee.
Cheers. So distract. I mean, again, distraction. Again, is a classic example. Again, some people can use humour. Again, that depends on the different situations. Again, it's all a distraction. It's all just taking things off the situation. Changing the subject. If you can change the subject, even better with somebody who's obviously being aggressive, and conflict, and getting their opinion on certain things. It might not feel like it to begin with, that they're being irritated because they know they're being worked. But at the same time, you distract somebody, more chance of them talk it down, more chance it's going to move away. Assert. So this is standing up for yourself. So obviously, you go in and somebody's picking on you on a regular basis, and you're proving to be just an easy target for them all the time. Sometimes just by being assertion, again, this is it. This is your back off, stay where you are. Okay, this is when you need to assert. They call this assert. It's not aggression, it's assert. I said no. That's this kind of thing. Okay, that's assertion. And then there's certain times when you would need to say, I'm not having it. I'm not doing it. And it works. Okay, so again, we on a pressure testing sort of thing we might do, again, there's something else called they call it the broken record, and we might think of it these days as a song stuck on repeat. So imagine when you've got you've got a device on with it, you've got a song, and the song just keeps going on and on and on. It plays again and again. Has anyone ever had that when they've just had a song that seems to be on a loop? Okay, that's a way of sometimes dealing with a person. So someone says, can I copy your homework? And you say, no, I don't want you to copy my homework. We'll both get in trouble if you copy my homework. Oh, no, I'll make sure I'll just copy it and put it into my own words. It'll be okay. No, I don't want that. You're not copying my homework. You're not copying my homework. Every time you end the sentence with, but you're not copying my homework. And you can start it with things like, yeah, I understand. I know it's very, very difficult. You could try different things, but you're not copying my homework. and you just keep repeating it again and again. It's the same way as people who used to work nightclubs, work places where nightclubs, people go out for parties, pubs and that, and you've got people standing on the doors who work security. They often use what they call a song stuck on repeat. I understand, but you're not coming in. Okay, so if there's somebody that's not supposed to go in there because wherever they're dressed, they'd end the sentence always, I understand, but you're not coming in. And they might shout, they might insult, and you keep your cool and you go, I understand, you're not coming in. Same thing here. Just stay away. Yeah, I get it, I understand. Just stay away. Yeah, I'm ugly. You don't like me. Just stay away. Again, that broken record all the time. And again, it can work for so many different things. It's something you don't want, you're not comfortable with, and somebody keeps on trying to not take no for an answer. Again, that's often a good tactic, just to keep feeding it back all the time. Again, another good book, Superpowers for Parents. That's a good one for parents out there. I highly recommend Superpowers for Parents. Talks about simple strategies, and again, devised by psychiatrists, a child psychiatrist actually, for children being able to handle that kind of pressure, people trying them to do something. I'm not going to steal. I understand, yeah, you want to go get those sweets out of that shop, but I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to steal. Just keep saying it, and just again, you've got enough respect for yourself to know that's the right thing to do. That would be an example of that. The broken record or song stuck on repeat. So okay, so we move now to situational awareness. Okay, but I think we're at the time now, aren't we, Ben?
Yeah, time's up, Jamie.
Time's up. Yeah. Okay, great stuff. All right, so let's move on to some questions now, shall we? Okay, so we'll move out of this. I don't know if you ever book me back again, we can move on to the awareness part of it. But again, as you noticed, attitude it's a huge area.
Yeah. Really good stuff, Jamie. Thanks a lot.
Okay, my pleasure. Good. Okay, let's go on to this. Yeah, cool.
Jamie?
Yeah? Who am I speaking to? Charlie, is it?
So what will happen if you're like really poor and they ask to give you, and they tell you to give them money, but when you give them money and you don't have any more, they ask for more?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question, Charlie. As I said, every situation is different, so I don't like giving like an easy answer to every single one. So if that money that you've got, if you know that they're just doing that on a regular basis, you have to decide what the threat is. That might be a situation where your option is assertion. I mean, originally somebody asked you for money. So, right, someone asks you for money, and you have to decide what sort of threat are they? Okay, so if this is somebody like, are you saying this is somebody around about your sort of age? How are you imagining the person who's threatening you in this situation? How are we imagining him?
A robber?
Sorry?
Like a really bad man?
A bad man? A bad man? Well, like an adult asking you for money?
An adult.
An adult asking you for money. Well,
it's
again,
not a child.
Yeah. Well, even if you have to give someone your money and you're in a situation where, you can't assert, you can't say no because you're worried that you're going to get physically hurt in that situation, and you haven't got much of a chance if you fought them. Again, giving the money is not a problem. You just then need to be able to then tell somebody straight away this is what's happened to you, because that person's already committed a crime. They've already been stealing. So that's where you report it. That's when you always say it. So yeah, but if you're talking about another child who every day is going to ask you for your money, then that's assertion. And from the beginning, you need to be able to stand up and be able to say no, you're not having it. You're not having it. This is mine. Okay, if you threaten me again, I'm going to speak to the teacher and speak to my parents or whatever. Being able to have that level of assertion to be able to do that, to be able to control that situation. It depends on what the risk is, you see, Charlie. It depends on how bad the risk is. If somebody who's a great big person who's going to be a serious threat to you, what I'm saying is give them that money and then go report them. Get out of there as quickly as you can. Okay. If it's somebody who you're going to see every day, okay, that's going to try and get your money off you, then from day one, you've got to be able to assert yourself on that and report them as well. Okay. Yeah. It's always important though to always report a person who you think is going to hurt you, okay, physically hurt you after you've done it, because then from day one, the adults know that you've done the right thing to begin with. So if you ever do have to you get in a physical fight with them, let's say they do get things worse, they know straight away from day one that you have been the person who doesn't want to fight. It's called covering your tracks.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Anyone else? Ethan, did you want to ask something?
Nah.
That's okay. Okay, any more questions, guys? If you need to ask a question, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Actually, excuse me, but what happens if, just say, someone, they've got a weapon that's life-threatening, and they walk up to you and they say, I don't know, they give you a serious threat, and you can see they're actually going to do it. Like, just say someone walks up to you with a knife and then they tell you, go and rob a place or I'll stab you with this knife.
Okay. Well, that's it again. And so you're again, different situations, different circumstances.
Like a grown adult.
Like a grown adult wants you to do something when they. Well, again, it's a very hard judgment thing to do. But again, the important thing I would say with that, okay, Ethan, is it's again because it's not easy to answer that kind of situation. If you're stuck in a situation, you've got a person holding a knife straight and telling you to do something. Your health and well-being is the most important thing there. Okay, so you need to do whatever they're asking you to do at that particular moment in order, and as soon as you can escape, get out of it. Okay, that's what you're going to be thinking about doing. Okay, so for the time being, you're going to be thinking about, I've got to be able to escape. However, and this is the important thing, the next part of the course is awareness. Okay, this is what we're about to touch on there. So, and a lot of people, when we do self-defense situations, have someone holding a knife at them. Okay, it's a common thing that you see because it's what you watch, and you see people doing defenses against knives, and you see, and it's a scenario that a lot of people work on. However, what I like to emphasize all the time is everything we can do to prevent that situation happening. And up to the situation where someone pulls a knife on you, there will have been several signals that have been given away where you could probably have got out of that situation. Okay, this is important. It's important to be able to train that. That person has first got to target you. Okay, so that's number one. We've got to assume that they see you as a target. So you just said it's an adult. So yes, an adult could target any child. Although to be honest, they'll generally try and target a child that they feel is not going to give them a much aggravation. It's not going to make much of a noise or whatever like that. They're going to, if they do want to target. So again, but let's say, for argument's sake, they've targeted somebody who's been confident, whatever. You've got that part of it. So then you've got to approach you. So you know that they're coming towards you. They know that they're coming towards you. Then you're going to be able to identify, are they armed? Now, if they're carrying a knife, that knife, they can't be walking around holding that knife. As soon as they're walking around holding that knife, the chances are they're going to get caught straight away. Someone's going to alert them to do that. They're going to pull it out at the last moment to show you. So there's lots of signs like how people are carrying it and how they're moving forward. This is why awareness is so important, and awareness needs to be underlined by attitude. So in an actual situation scenario there, I'll definitely answer your question, and that's a very difficult one because different people, different situations, different circumstances, and what I'm saying is not going to be the absolute answer. I would never ever say that because every situation is different. But my argument would be is if you're an immediate threat with somebody who's going to physically hurt you, and you haven't got much hope of being able to get away from them at that particular moment, your job now is to use this to talk to them as much as you can, to make them assured that you're not going to hurt, you're not going to fight back, whilst all the time looking for when you're going to make an exit. There's been plenty of examples of children who have even been kidnapped, and during their time being kidnapped, all they've done is to keep this going all the time, where they're showing the person who's kidnapping them they're not a threat to them, that they're not going to do anything, and whilst they're doing that, they're looking for where the exit points are. That's why, again, we did that exercise there where we just keep going towards an exit point. So it's a really good part of your regular training. So when you're doing your katas, when you're doing your exercises, always try and factor in a little bit of time for when you're going to exit points. And when you're when you're going down the town, when you're in a shop, or you're walking down the street, or you're walking anywhere else, look at things where are potential hazards, where are places where people cannot see you. Okay, and they're the places to avoid, obviously, and be aware of looking around with you all the time on it, because then you'll pick up on those signs early on as well. Okay, is that helpful?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Any more, guys? Because we've gone right over time now, so if anyone's got any more quickly, because Jamie doesn't want to be here all day. Any more?
No.
Tosh, did you have a question?
Someone's just chatted. And it says they've
Here
chatted.
comes Tosh. I think Tosh has got one for you, Jamie.
Oopsie.
Can I ask one? Can you
Yeah,
hear
go
me?
on, Tosh.
About breathing in a situation, fight situation, how do you control your breathing?
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, but generally speaking, I always when I do my training, I always come back down to breathing in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3. Now that's a dramatic version of it. That's when you're doing your actual training. So it's you do like an edited version of that when you feel the stress happening to you. So as your heart rate starts going off, you just take a controlled breath of it, but you make sure that you're going in, hold, out as you're going. And again, it's trying to control that. But again, if you do a lot of that as a practice, it's like doing your press-ups. You do lots of press-ups, can make your a lot of your upper body strength techniques stronger. You do deep breathing exercises, therefore you've got more of a chance of being more connected to your breathing in a stressful situation. But again, a lot of that, the best way to find a lot of these things with the breathing and that kind of thing is to do pressure testing. Okay, it's to do pressure testing exercises. Appreciate we're in lockdown at the moment. Some of you who are in lockdown with fellow trainers, you've got a partner to train with. Put yourself in situations where you close your eyes and you get that shock and you go straight into whatever drill you're doing. Okay, those you're on your own, if you want, you could put a series of sounds on, if you like, and decide when a certain sound, you hear a certain sound, that's when you're going to open your eyes and you're going to do whatever drill you're going to do, your fighting drill. So you're stimulating that stress response. And then you're going to, that immediately comes back onto your breathing part of it again, because as soon as your heart rate goes up, then your breathing starts to speed up because you want to be taking in more oxygen, and you just start, you learn how to control that. So that would be my answer. My answer is that in regular training, do your deep breathing exercises, which where you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4. And what tends to happen is you instinctively start to regulate that breathing as your heart rate goes up and you get into more of a stressful situation. But again, practice it. The more you practice it, the more that then becomes, part and parcel of how you act under high pressure.
Okay.